Twitter is a war zone right now. Bitcoin purists versus the Kaspa diehards, duking it out over who owns Proof of Work's future. The maxis say Bitcoin's untouchable. The Kaspa crowd fires back with speed, pennies and fees, and a decade of Proof of Work evolution from names Vitalik cited in Ethereum's white paper. And we're just getting started. Kaspa's biggest move lands on August 31st with smart contracts. You'll want to stick around for the knockout. You're now entering the crux of crypto. Hey guys, Crux here. Welcome to the ultimate pit stop for Web3 wisdom. Smash that like and subscribe for Pup Tux, who's got his ref whistle ready for this one. Try saying that 5 times fast. The Bitcoin OGs came out swinging. One core dev straight up called Kaspa's co-founder Yonatan Sampolinsky a scammer. When pressed, he pulled the classic move, block and bail. Then Adam Back jumped in. Yeah, the Adam Back that created Hashcash, the very tech that Satoshi referenced in Bitcoin's white paper, to defend his buddy. I mean, are we really gonna get this salty over somebody claiming that they quote-unquote performed security audits on Bitcoin early? So, why does this even matter? Michael Saylor once said, and I quote, "There is no second best."
Which one's the best crypto asset? Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay, what's the second best? There is no second best. There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, right?
Well, I hopped into a Twitter space with over 25,000 people to explain why there actually is a second best and why Kaspa actually owns that spot. The Bitcoin maxis running it didn't want to hear it. I waited hours to speak, ready to drop facts, and they wouldn't let me up. But here's the truth. Most of the Bitcoin crowd either hasn't formed an opinion on Kaspa or they actually like it. And the more they learn, the more they're warming up to it. Missing Kaspa right now and you're gonna end up like this guy who sold all his Bitcoin because it would never hit $20 again. The more you study Kaspa, the more you realize it's not just breaking tech barriers. Its roots go all the way back to the early Bitcoin era before 2013. When a group proposed a radical idea. What if you could have blocks every single second, over 200 transactions per second, and still keep the ironclad security of Proof of Work? See, Satoshi slowed Bitcoin to 10-minute blocks because the network couldn't handle faster speeds without creating too many orphan blocks. And here's the 1000 IQ move. Kaspa uses those wasted blocks. Instead of tossing them, it folds them back into the ledger, strengthening the network and speeding up confirmation times. Turns out Kaspa doesn't orphan blocks. It adopts them, and then it puts them to work like a Proof of Work network should. Fast forward to 2025. Kaspa's Crescendo hard fork didn't just meet that 2013 vision, it obliterated it. We're talking more than a 10x of the original goal. This is the payoff from over a decade of refining Proof of Work to actually function as real money, not just a store of value. And here's the irony. Back in 2014, Bitcoin devs actually tipped their hat to these scaling ideas, but they made one big mistake. They stayed chained to the blockchain model instead of forking to a directed acyclic graph. The truth, DAGs are simply more efficient when it comes to scaling. Bitcoin's design forces it to choose from speed and security. Kaspa figured out how to have both, and has proven that every day since Crescendo went live. Credit where it's due. Bitcoin still wears a crown when it comes to decentralization and adoption. It's not just the most recognized name in crypto, it's the most decentralized network on the planet, with over 45,000 active nodes securing roughly half of all the Proof of Work hash power in existence. That's a fortress no one is storming, period. And here's the part you can't ignore. Kaspa's hash rate is massive for its market cap. And with more miners coming online every day, that security is only going to get stronger. And that's before smart contracts and Layer 2s hit on August 31st. The gap is closing fast. Bitcoin has been the rallying cry for anybody looking to break free of the fiat system. It's done more than just hold value. It's woken up millions of people to how broken traditional money really is. Attending this year's Bitcoin conference was an eye-opener, sitting alongside some of the biggest names in the space, even Vice President JD Vance. When it comes to a store of value, nothing comes close. Bitcoin is digital gold, period. Now, Just because Bitcoin's more widely adopted doesn't mean it has the highest sentiment. Why waste time debating an ecosystem 1,000 times smaller? Simple, because deep down they know it's a threat. You don't see Bitcoin maxis tweeting nonstop about Dogecoin or Litecoin, but Kaspa, they can't stop the engagement farming. And get this, Kaspa didn't just copy Bitcoin SHA-256. It evolved it to K heavy hash, adding a waiting function and pairing it with a DAG that confirms multiple blocks at once instead of just one. That means every ounce of network work counts, boosting security and making certain attacks much harder to pull off. The Crescendo hard fork took it even further, smoothing out mining rewards so they're more consistent and evenly distributed, which levels the playing field for the smaller miners. With Caspa's efficiency and growing demand, you don't need a warehouse of ASICs to make mining worthwhile. If you're a solo miner, Kaspa actually gives you a shot, unlike Bitcoin, where mega industrial farms dominate the rewards. It's not about who's better. It's about which race you're running. Bitcoin locks down the base layer as digital gold, while Kaspa sprints ahead as lightning fast trust layer for the modern internet. And the game's about to change. Kaspa smart contract drops in just weeks, unlocking full programmability. That means AI integration, real world asset tokenization, DeFi, you name it. I'm saving that deep dive for my next Kaspa video on August 31st, the same day Kaspa's first ever Layer 2 mainnet goes live. So subscribe and hit those alerts. Here's the kicker. Bitcoin leans on Layer 2s and sidechains like Lightning and Liquid because its base layer moves at a crawl. On its base layer, you're still looking at 10 minutes per block and roughly an hour for true settlement with 6 confirmations. Kaspa, its base layer alone is already pushing 3,000 transactions per second. With Dagnite, that jumps to 32 blocks per second, and after the Rust rewrite, 100 BPS is just a matter of time. This is peer-to-peer in its purest form. Kaspa is the only proof-of-work network with a clear on-chain roadmap to outrun Visa, bringing not just speed, but true decentralization at scale. And the cost, fractions of a cent. Check this out.
Send on here. So
Okay.
send and then confirm face ID.
There it is.
It's already there. And
Do you guys see that? This is the 2 Kaspa.
All right, before I hit you with my final take on Bitcoin versus Kaspa, if you learned something new today, smash that like and consider joining one of our memberships. If you're serious about catching asymmetric plays before they explode, the Gem Hunters is your turf. Just last week, we hit 2 separate 2x's in under 36 hours back to back. You've got 3 memberships to choose from, each one giving you daily Q&As for real-time answers. Check out the Gem watch list where tomorrow's winners show up today. Our VIP trading group has over 450 traders still locking in gains even when the markets dip. You'll also unlock the Academy, your crash course in mastering research, trading, and even one-on-one portfolio audits tailored to your game plan. I've already helped out over 170 members, walking them through how exactly I approach the markets, what I would look for in their shoes, and how I'd manage the risk. It's not financial advice, just the exact playbook I personally use to win in these markets. More details in the description below. Let's get it. No Bitcoin maxis were harmed in the making of this video, but we're keeping it real. I'm coming at this with no biases. Bitcoin stands as the ultimate store of value, less volatile than other cryptos and backed by the longest price history. It's one of only 2 ETFs on the board, with treasuries stacking it like it's gold bars. US states are adding it, countries are adopting it, and let's not forget, it remains the most decentralized network on the earth. This thing has hit escape velocity, and there's no turning back. Kaspa, on the other hand, has delivered on what Satoshi set out to build, a true peer-to-peer network made for moving money. And it goes a step further. It proved Vitalik wrong when he said no network could solve the blockchain trilemma. Kaspa checks all 3 boxes: security through Kaspa Heavy Hash without relying on scaling solutions, decentralization through dedicated proof of work, and scalability through a directed acyclic graph sharpened to perfection in Rust. Right now, you can fire off 400 transactions for less than a penny. near instant, while Bitcoin sent you back $1 per send. Not exactly microtransaction friendly. Even the guy who created Bitcoin ATMs says Kaspa solves this. Sure, layer 2s and sidechains can speed things up, but that speed comes at a cost. Security. It's a band-aid, not a cure. And make no mistake, when you use Bitcoin scaling solutions, you're opening the door to these 5 major risks. The kicker: there's no roadmap to actually solve it. Bitcoin still wins on decentralization, but on security and scalability, that crown goes to Kaspa. My non-financial advice: stack more Bitcoin for the stability, and keep Kaspa in your arsenal for the tech edge. If you've made it this far, let me hear your counter arguments in the comments. Keep it sharp, keep it respectful. This channel is for leveling up, not throwing hands. Was I too hard on Bitcoin? Or has Kaspa not done enough to earn its flowers? Let me know. And if you're one of the half watching who hasn't hit subscribe yet, let's fix that. Don't just watch from the sidelines. Get in the free Discord, follow me on X, and let's win this cycle together. Smash those alerts because part 2 of my 1K to 10K challenge is dropping soon. Catch up on part 1 right here. And while you're at it, here's another video you don't want to miss. Click one of these to dive deeper into the crux of crypto.